Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in to the 2019 coverage of the No Bogey Amberley Classic. My name is Mike Taylor, I'm here with Stephen Harris.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in.
Bringing you the much awaited coverage of our front 10 action for the singles on Saturday in late September at this awesome temp course at Amberley Green.
Just rolling hills, beautiful trees in the fall. It's a great course to play.
Want to give a quick shout out to all our sponsors, Disc and Dat, the Natty Disc Golf, Greater Cincinnati Disc Golf Association, Hazy Shade, Stupid Tree Disc Golf.
Boom. Out of Dayton.
Boom. Yep. And without further mention, our title sponsor, No Bogey Disc Golf.
Hey, thanks, man. I was happy to do it. It's all I wanted to do was help support this beautiful local temp course that we get to play maybe once a year, and it draws in great talent from across the tri-state area. I mean, we have people from Michigan also, but this is a hole one. It's like our just starter right up the middle. You got to keep it a little low. That was Jeremiah Kraus out of Dayton. He's a very talented young guy. And then here's little Zach Arlinghaus, junior world champion, right out of Northern Kentucky. Just kicks right off a tree, but that's a putt. I mean, for these guys, these are just pretty much straight up the middle, easy putter shots.
Yeah, you got that absolutely right. Also wanted to take a second to thank Joe Javins, Joe Jav Productions, him and Hayden McLellan coming out and filming both rounds. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, definitely, especially sacrificing the chance to play this awesome singles event. They came out and gave it their all and sat in the sun all day and videotaped all of this. So
wow, that was an ace run by Jeff Vandemark. Quick overview of our players today. We got Nick Long teeing off. And it looks like he's throwing a putter here. Most players throwing a putter. We have a absolutely star-studded cast from the Southwest Ohio area. All these players have a high pedigree, playing at the open level for years and years. Obviously, Zach just getting started, but Cyrus there throwing a longer putt. He's known for hitting those longer putts for sure.
Here's Nick Long. Connects. That's a great.
Yeah.
That's not even like a putt. That was like a little flick in.
Mm-hmm.
Just turn it in.
Yeah, Nick's been playing for 20 years, sponsored by Upper Parks Bag. Crossover Disc Golf also sponsors him, but he's going to be free agent as far as sponsors go in 2020.
Little Zach just barely missing, hitting chains right side. This is a local Jeff Vandemark out of like Amelia. Look at him, let's
go.
Big ace run with a big putt for Deuce to follow it up.
That was a wizard, I think he putts with.
Hey. Oh, Jerry.
Yeah.
Oh boy, well, maybe some nerves or just rushing a little bit.
Yeah, Zach had mentioned that he tends to get nervous before each tournament round, even though he has had some stellar tournament performances. So it's always interesting and a great reminder that even the best players still get nervous before each round.
This is hole 2. It's a big downhill, 436, par 3. There's a little wind play that factors into it, but it's for the most part just a hyzer shot. And most players are probably going to throw it out to the right and just let it work its way left as long as they keep it high enough.
Yeah, Jeff is going to get the box, tee off on hole 2. I'm thinking that's one of his ex-nukes. There's a lot of nukes for distance, and that's just about parked. They don't call him Vandemark for nothing.
Here's Nick Long. I'm not sure. Yeah, I know he throws like a old Anton Destroyer a lot, but this isn't it, so I'm not sure what he's throwing here. Looks very similar to a Destroyer, though. Looking pretty laced.
Yeah, I would say Nick Long at this point is not one of the more underrated pros anymore. The secret's kind of out on him. He came back to town a couple years ago, and he spent a lot of time out in the Lake Tahoe region in California, and carved a name for himself competing against Nico LaCastro and Patrick Brown and a bunch of guys that would come through every year.
Cyrus, just putting one up the middle, and it'll probably be a little short left, but that's a putt. I mean, anything is pretty much wide open as long as you don't shank it left into the tree line there. I mean, you're giving yourself a look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mentioned star-studded cast for us locally. Cyrus, believe it or not, has 60 wins in his career, over $35,000 cashed and open, 1,000 rating, 1,000 rate player as long as I can remember.
Yeah, definitely. And he's just a laid-back, fun dude to play with in general. You would never really get any sort of, typical pro vibe from him in the sense that he's not out here trying to give tips or anything. He's just always out just having a good time, enjoying himself, and giving people a challenge with that laid-back attitude you wouldn't expect. Ooh, just short.
Yeah, I like that pin placement with the knoll on the backdrop for those longer runs. Makes you think about it a little bit more, how aggressive you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, you probably got a good 10, 12 feet before you really hit the downside of the hill, but
there you go, Jerry.
If you make the slightest mistake or that wind's blowing hard enough, you could really just leave yourself with another 30-plus footer for comeback up a hill. And I think that's what a lot of these wide open holes are kind of typical for them is that they look wide open, and some of them look like they're even easy, but it's really, if you don't put yourself close enough and you have an error on your approach or your putt, you're probably doing yourself a disfavor and giving yourself a just as equally, if not tougher, putt.
Right. So we're here at hole 3. This one was designed to have multiple options. You can take a low ceiling kind of fairway driver, distance driver through the middle. You can throw a forehand hyzer over the top, or a right hand backhand turnover shot, or a roller. It's great design for that. Multiple ways to go on this hole. We'll see a variety of shots, I'm sure. Let's see what Jeff lines up.
Yeah, I think that the more direct shot is this. If you can get something fairway, or a little faster turnover, just low and straight, it's usually right at the bottom of the basket. But this is the play I liked watching the most. We got to see, personally, both of us got to see Nick Long run it, and wow. Look at that. And it's grass. The grass was mowed very recently, but I mean it was still thick, and he kind of played that perfect.
Jerry has the arm to go up and over too, and that just goes to show you his technical skills that he has. And Nick is a specialist in the rollers, and I'm guessing that's what he's going to throw here too. Yep. He kind of likes those sky rollers more so than putting it down early.
And, another roller. I mean...
amazing shots.
Yes, it takes a lot of skill to do that, especially from two players. Here's Cyrus, right up the middle. Oh, that was perfect looking if it wasn't for that branch. Here we go. Big hyzer from the junior champ.
Let's see if it sticks to green. I clipped the branch.
That's probably about a little outside circle 1.
Yeah, I think that's that getaway. Zach really likes throwing those.
Yeah, they're kind of almost like a Firebird or a little more glide. I threw a couple from Bowling Green a couple years ago. They were fun.
Jeff's got his swag. He's hitting putts. He's throwing bombs. Let's see if he cashes this.
Ooh.
He wanted it. So last year, Jeff was really excited to play, but he had some freak injury, illness, internal bleeding, something. I don't know, but he had to cancel last second, and he was really bummed, and so really excited to come out and be able to play this year.
Yeah, he's typically somebody who puts pressure on the open field to begin with, so it's nice to have him out at this event, our event, because it's a great, beautiful course, and seeing these talented people play is very eye-opening sometimes.
Yeah, because we're blessed to have hard choices to make when you're trying to think of a feature card with 30-plus open players coming in from all around the area, and certain guys are going to get left out. It's nothing personal because there's hard choices. There's about 10 to 15 great open players within 50 to 100 miles of our area.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you all saw. I mean, they're 1,000 rated or just barely below. It's not like these people are just some, up and coming open. They're established. They've been around a while.
Yeah, consistent.
Exactly.
They're consistent, incredibly consistent players.
This is just a soft little hyzer for the most part. I remember, I think it was on the doubles day the next day. It was pretty windy on this. I was throwing a putter and I was kind of scared to throw it, and I ended up throwing a little too straight the next day because the wind played that much of a factor.
You were my doubles partner. I got to see you throw some great putter shots. I was impressed. Oh, this looks like an ace.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, this is an original hole. This has been around every year from what I can remember from the years I've played. So I think a lot of people expect to get this, and if you don't, you're probably kicking yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you that have not played this, again, this is a temporary course on Amberley Green in a little village called Amberley Village in Cincinnati.
Wow.
Kind of in the central...
have never seen a shot like that.
Me neither.
That's a great shot.
Central area in Cincinnati, and we are incredibly lucky to have great relationships with the administrative offices and people in charge of administering the park, and they let us come out here. They're happy to have us. Neighbors are happy to have us, so quick shout out to everybody that helps make it happen, because we feel very fortunate to be able to come out here and enjoy the land. Yeah, Jerry wants those putts.
Yeah, I feel like the few times I've really sat and watched him play, he's pretty aggressive on the basket, and that's where a lot of, I think, his confidence comes from too. Is you slam a big putt, him specifically, you can see it in him. It's almost like his body language.
Yeah, 70, 80 feet. He's running everything, maybe even 100. Running it, he feels good about 30-foot comeback putts. He knows he's a good putter. I think he was even rated as high as 10-10, 10-15 just a year ago.
Yeah, I forget what event it was, but he came out shooting like, I think it was almost like the hot rounder. He was really he was taking lead on a lot of touring pros on USDGC. Was that what it was in
Texas tournament? I think it was the Nick Hyde Memorial.
Yep, Nick Hyde. That's what it was. He came out shooting for front half of the round.
So I love this hole.
Crazy.
There is a hero gap through the middle that you can barely see, but if you can throw a mid or fairway driver through the gut, but most players right hand throwing a sky hyzer over the trees. Lefties have a tougher gap going around.
That's looking pretty close to perfect.
Yeah, and this hole really depends on, wow, great shot, Cyrus, how windy it is. If you got a tailwind, headwind, crosswind, where can you put that hyzer up and where will it end up? You do not want to go in that rough, though.
Yeah, that lefty is really it's more angle control than anything. You really got to actually get the distance on a harder angle, hyzer angle.
Yeah, Jared Brook over aced this last year when we were playing doubles on Sunday. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, I think it's like slightly becoming a tradition. We use some temp baskets, and we have MVP Axiom basket on this hole, and some people like to think they don't stick that well, but if you're sticking a big hyzer ace, those Axioms, I think they catch well enough. Looking pretty clean.
Yeah, the general feel for these kinds of players when they get together and compete, everybody knows each other. Everybody's been competing for years at this point. Zach, again, is just kind of getting into the fold, getting his feet wet in the Open. He had an excellent showing at the Idlewild Open.
Nice.
There you go, Nick. The Nick Long Shuffle, ladies and gentlemen. He recently had to, I wonder if that's the putter he had to replace. He just recently cracked it. He had to get a different putter for that kind of spin floaty putt.
There you go.
Yeah, Jeff's putting early and often. He looks like he's got his putt feeling confident. But Zach, he had an amazing showing at the Idlewild Open this year. You mentioned he won amateur. It was just 18 and under, right?
Yeah, 18 under. He's a junior world champ this year. Yeah, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he won by a handful of strokes. He went off pretty hard.
It's something that we've all locally seen it coming, but to see it actually happen on the course,
come to fruition has been for me. It's been. I think it's exciting.
It's
every time I see him, he barely even knows me. I'm always like, "What's up?" So excited to see you, dude. I'm looking forward to seeing you play.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a genuinely great kid, though, too. Obviously, his skills on the disc golf course, and I believe he still plays basketball and baseball. Wow, that was looking tasty.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing with hole 6 is it's you're not going to see hardly anyone go up the middle, and if you do and they get it, I'm sorry, you're pretty lucky, or you're just the best up the middle thrower I've ever seen.
Ooh, another ace run.
I
wow.
saw more than any other hole. I saw so many skip hit the basket, hit chains, hit the pole. So some people were really just honed in on these short little flips.
Yeah, it's a shot that if you miss it, you'll know because you'll hit something. But if you hit the shot, you're probably tracking the basket.
For sure.
And Jeff's not really that much of a forehand player. He's got it, but you can even see that this is really what the hole demands for if you're right-handed.
Still, that's a putt. Can't tell what he's throwing.
We were very fortunate to get some, albeit hot weather, but good weather, late September. Plenty of sunshine, still feeling good. Not quite cold yet in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we live in that valley, and sometimes we can get all the seasons in one day, and we were just lucky enough to not catch fall early this year.
Right.
It was almost like summer. I mean, we were out there sweating.
So Cyrus shared a pretty interesting story about how he got started in disc golf. He started 2003, high school, going out playing with his buddies. Went to Ed Hedrick design course, one of the first in our area. Winton Woods. Played 9 holes, made the turn back to hole 1 and aced hole 1 and kind of caught the bug. Been playing ever since then. Nick's getting his focus on the basket. Let's see if he can catch this. Oh!
Yeah, this is where Mike and I were for our one of our doubles rounds, and we were like very confident. We were like, we're gonna nail this. You know, we got this limb in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's the thing. We did want to push it low, and we barely made the putt, getting it just high enough. This is Ian Collins' basket. He demands it every year beyond hole 6. So,
he does, doesn't
he?
he?
So, if anyone's got complaints for this hole, take it up with Ian.
He actually almost aced it,
Yeah,
too.
yep.
He hit it with his
He
quake.
hit the cage on our round. And Ian Collins being another good local pro or open player, we'll say. He's like the ace king around here.
Mm-hmm.
He averages about 15 a year.
So you can't quite see it 100%, but the OB is off the tee to the right immediately. Then it curves around the walking path there all the way around the backside where it slopes down. So if you take the Heiser route, you're out of bounds. From right-hand player, you're out of bounds right off the tee, but it's there. So most players will try and just get it in bounds, play it safe, and take a 3. A 2 on this hole is really a stroke on the field.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're a lefty, then you can just whip the 400-foot Heiser and go long.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a really good sky roller, a lot of people will take that. They'll just flip something over, let it fly about 200, 250 feet, and then let it roll the rest of the way.
That's great angle control. You know, he was keeping it flat. He's going to be probably outside circle 1, 45, 50, but that's still a putt for this hole. It's not an easy shot, turnover shot. Yeah, Nick was talking about his forehand on when we played with him. Look at him. I mean, he's got it. He was like, "Oh, dude, I just threw a forehand." It's like, what do you mean you just throw a forehand?
Oh.
Yeah.
Thought maybe that was going to roll a B.
So Jeff's feeling out the Heiser line here.
Yeah, Jeff's always had a pretty solid Heiser game. And you get him on a course where it's predominantly open and Heiser, he's probably in a chance to win against anybody around here.
Yo, I'm a big Heiser player. I'd take it any day over a turnover probably, and I still prefer the turnover on this hole. The Heiser's pretty scary. And there's that sky roller right out of Jerry. Great shot. Yeah, and a lot of the longer holes here, you know, we have some longer par 3s and some tough par 4s, and a lot of those, I mean, having a look and
Jeff, wow.
Having a look from circle's edge or a little far out for your birdie is, I mean, that's pretty typical on some of these longer holes. You have to know how to capitalize on those, and if you don't, then that's where you're going to be losing strokes to all these big open
Exactly,
players.
because you know that you're going to have to shoot lights out with this kind of open field. I mean, that's just the reality of it. You're going to have to play to your best every single round to win around here when this many people show up. It also, in turns, puts pressure on other players too. I mean, that's kind of the situation. If you're feeling those putts 40, 50 feet and you start hitting them, starts making everybody else feel pressure like they got to hit them too.
Oh, look at them skills, them disc flipping skills.
Yeah, Zach was saying one of his goals next year was to get to 10-10 rated and to finish in the top, I believe, 20 at USDGC. So
I don't think that's far-fetched by any means either. Like he's progressively, grown so much the past couple of years in general. At this off season going into next year, leading up to USDGC, the kid totally could do it for sure.
Right. It's a mental aspect at this point. If he can stay confident. Oh, and look, you're looking at the signature hole here, ladies and gentlemen. Hole 8, about 600 feet downhill, and breathtaking view. Always fun to play. And there's a lot of talk about the best way to park this hole. Some people take that hyzer flip up, maybe more on the left side, let it work all the way right, then finish on a hyzer. Some people just go flat and then all the way out by that willow tree you can see on the right. We'll see what Zach has as a lefty. This is pretty tricky.
He just did not put enough on it.
Yeah.
So, and as a lefty, you kind of have a lot more to worry about going hyzering into that stuff on the right because it is thick.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as taking an OB stroke.
Yeah, you can't see it on the left side. There's actually trees a little bit earlier, and they would come into play for a lefty. More so than that right side has more clearance if you get it out and high.
Cyrus putting one down. In all honesty, that's a pretty good throw. I mean, you have to have good control. You have to have a pretty perfect shot to actually get it down this hill. It's just long enough. If you put any height on it, you're taking too much air into it.
Like you said, right is natural OB, left the cart path is OB. So this is kind of one of those tweener holes. Could be a par 3, could be a par 4, but across all skill levels, probably par 4, considering the trouble on each side and really needing to get down this hill.
Turn. Yeah, stepping up to the top of this, when you step on the tee box, especially if there's a headwind, I know I was kind of, I don't know what to throw. It was a big debate, personally on what I was going to throw, and I ended up going with something lighter and less stable, and I still almost went OB on the left side, so I wimped out on my shot. There's a lot of commitment you got to make with your disc selection and your actual throw.
Yeah, you got to come up. You just got to remember.
Wow,
yeah,
what a toss.
You got to remember you're out here playing disc golf. It's a beautiful hole. Just kind of take in the scenery and not let the nerves get too much a hold of you and just throw a great shot. Committed.
Was that a righty?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, this lefty can throw a righty too.
Steven, I just wanted to take a second and just thank you, buddy, because that tournament, running that, really requires having multiple people involved, and I really appreciated you stepping up, making it happen. It makes things a lot easier, a lot smoother having other people that can kind of help with logistics, coordinating, planning, all that stuff.
Definitely. I mean, don't listen to Mike and think that I went too far above and beyond. This man sacrificed more than I did to get this running, and he's been doing it for several years. So it keeps growing, it keeps getting bigger, and it's only going to get bigger.
Great putts.
So I appreciate it, but we really, thank you, Mike. Cause
this
wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you and your constant communication with the Amberley Village.
Well, it's one of those things where we started out in the beginning, good putt, 3 putts in a row.
Yeah.
Putting on a show. It's one of those things, at the very conception of this thing, it started out small, and every year it's gotten a little bit bigger, and finally we were able to add Joe Jav Productions coming on the scene in 2019, doing great things for our disc golf community locally. So, yeah, we were really happy to get on the calendar for Joe. Have him come out and film this.
For sure. And if you guys are watching this and this looks intriguing and you're interested, please, there's check it out. There's a Facebook page, and I'm sure there's some posts if you go back for No Bogeys page and stuff that you can click on and get some basic info, or contact one of us via Facebook, and we can give you a shout whenever we get some more definitive plans for next year. The more people that we can get to come and travel and check it out, the better. We want people to come enjoy this property. So it's a beautiful piece of land, and we don't really get the chance to play it as much as we probably wish we could.
Yeah. I mean, you and I talked extensively about this someday being a permanent course.
Yeah.
There's lots of talks about development happening, and that is imminent, and it will happen, but it's not out of the window that we could develop something. It might just not be this exact layout, but there should be plenty of space to develop a disc golf course.
Definitely. And this is, I want to point out, this is a very deceiving hole. It seems like such an easy hyzer, but you can't go too wide or you're hitting the hill and rolling out every time pretty much. If you're not landing on top by the basket, you're either in the woods or you're rolling down the hill across the OB path on the right. So it's a little touchier than it looks based on looks here.
Yeah, it's one of those holes you gotta pick a spot on a tree.
See,
or
that
in the
shot
sky.
is great. He put something like, it looks like almost like a putter or a mid on a hard, almost grenade line.
I like a dog walker. Dogs running in the background. I love it. That is very characteristic of this park. Plenty of residents, especially on a nice day, come out, enjoy the parks, the trees, the hills.
What a spit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was an old 9-hole ball golf course, years back in the village, and they took it out and removed it, and it's pretty much become a big walking path, park for a lot of locals and a lot of people outside. I mean, I work close to this, in a part of town close to here, and I get a lot of regulars that talk about the walker dogs here.
Yeah, a couple players are kind of separating themselves from the pack. We got Jeff and Nick scooping up some birdies. Cyrus and Zach, Arlinghaus and Jerry kind of a couple strokes behind, definitely keeping pace as much as they can. But Jeff and Nick coming out of the gate pretty hot, getting 6 and 5 birdies out of 9 holes. That's what you want to do coming out on this course.
All right, walking into hole 10. It's a shorty, and it's uphill. It's got a low ceiling, so I feel like a lot of players play almost like a slight hyzer shot on the right because you get a little more room height-wise to work with. If you take an inside route with a putter or something, you're really pushing that height. See, he's going to take the hyzer here and just let it ride the outside right up to the basket. Great shot.
Is that your old basket?
That is my old basket. Yeah, it's my old Titan. It's a great sturdy. It's the original Titan. It's a great sturdy disc, 3 layers of chains, but sometimes it can be very unforgiving.
Nick throwing a champion eagle here, coming up a little short on the ace, but gave it a good run. I'm thinking this is a putter.
Yeah, I don't know
Jerry.
what putter Jerry throws, but yeah, I mean that's a putt. That's in a circle, and I'm actually curious to see how this goes. See, you got to keep it real low on an inside line, but that's a putt for him. That's not crazy.
Yeah, this is a must get. Everybody, every skill level feels like they want a birdie on this hole. Nice putt, Cyrus.
For sure. Oh boy, see, unforgiving. You got to be right at the heart, or this thing's gonna just spit you right out. Kind of reminds me of like the Mach X's or the Prodigy baskets, just a different chain setup. The way tight the inside set of chains is, it really can give you some kick out.
No, you first.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happening right now. Giving each other some friendly banter.
Scooping up more birdies.
Yeah, while they're doing it.
Yep. These guys go way back. Okay, so thanks, guys. We are going to make the turn to the back 10 in a moment. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the back 10. We got Jeff at 7 down, Nick at 6, Jerry and Cyrus at 4, and Zach at 2 down.
Thanks, y'all.
Have more great action coming back at you.